welcome back, everybody. So we are going to wrap things. I'm going to try to keep this one pretty short. So I am going to just make some of my other practice graphics here a little smaller to give myself a little bit more room. Boom. There we go. All right, I guess I never connected. Those are just kind of hanging off, and I didn't delete those earlier, so it's my abstract sculpture graphic. All right, now let's use the shape builder tool to make something a little bit more meaningful really quick. I'm going to show you a couple things with that, and then I'm going to show you a few of the effects that you can use to actually build shapes as well. So let's say that I have my heart badge here, but I also need to make kind of like, let's just say like a basketball looking icon. So what I am going to do is I actually need to remind myself, let's take a look. Dribble has a nice basketball. I just need to take a look at, so they have like a basketball that's kind of like this going on. And so I'm going to make something even more simple. If you've never heard of Dribble, by the way, it's a great resource for creatives to kind of share their work and find clients and things like that. But I'm going to take inspiration from this little basketball, and mine's going to be much more simple. But that'll kind of show you how you can use the shape builder in to make some kind of symbol or maybe part of a logo or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the ellipse tool. I'm going to go ahead and just make a sphere, a perfect sphere here. And I am going to go ahead and grab my pen tool. And we're going to make, so again, have your smart guides on. If you don't have those on, they're right here. Check those on because you see all these purple lines that pop up. They're extremely helpful when you are drawing things. So with the pen tool, I'm going to click down and nothing's going to happen. And I'm going to come over to the other side of the ball. And I'm going to hold my shift key down because that's going to hold me exactly at a horizontal line here. That's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and click down. Now, the path is going to, it thinks I'm wanting to continue to draw things, but I don't really want to do that. So you can hit your P key on your keyboard and you'll see that that breaks the path here. So I'm not going to continue to draw with my pen tool, but that's how you can break that so you lose, you could start drawing something else, for example. I'm just going to Command Z that away. Okay, so there is the two basic pieces of art that I need. So the next thing I need to do is I kind of need to adjust the stroke on these so that I can get the shape that I'm looking for. So with this circle, I am going to go over here to Properties. I'm going to choose that I do not want to have a fill and that I would like, thank you very much, to have a stroke. And let's go ahead and make that fairly thick. I'm going to have it at 10 points. And so what I want to do with this path is I want to have no fill. I'm going to go ahead and use a black stroke and I'm going to bring that up to 10 as well. So 10 points on that. So these are the same thickness now. And that's looking great. So now what I need are sort of the basketball lines that curve along with the ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sphere and I'm going to drag it over until I get that curved line on this side. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So we're holding down the Alt and Option key to duplicate. And we're going to drag it like so. And you can see here in the center, what we got is kind of a basketball looking. It might not be perfect and probably needs some tweaking, but that would take forever. And we don't want the tutorial to be forever. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I want to make sure these are all aligned. So I'm not selecting the middle line at all. I just want to make sure my 3 spheres are aligned. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to my align tool. I'm going to align those, and then I want them to be distributed evenly as well. So they're all nice and perfect and wonderful. Now, the problem with these circles is that they are a stroke on a path, and it's like I can't use the shape builder because this outer line really isn't a shape yet, but that's what I need it to be. It's just following along the line of a path, but we can actually do something. It's called expanding a stroke, and what that's going to do is that's going to turn this into a real shape instead of just a path with like a thickness applied to the line. It will turn it into a real shape that we can shape into this sort of basketball looking logo thing that we're doing. Okay, and this is where the wonderful power of using all these tools together can, you can make some really nice artwork, nice imagery pretty quickly. So what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and key select all of these, all 4 of your objects. We're going to go to Object, and you're going to choose Expand. So go ahead and expand those. It's going to say, expand. Are you sure? Or like, do you want to do the fill and stroke? You can go ahead and just leave it as default and hit OK. And what you're going to see is now when you highlight this, you see that the outlines are highlighted, and this is truly a shape. You see these as, it's not just a path with a thickness applied. It's become a real shape. Like Pinocchio became a real boy, I suppose. If you're looking for an analogy, they're like real shapes now. Okay? So now what we can do is we can highlight all of this, and we can use the shape builder tool to build out our basketball icon and get rid of everything that we don't need. So let's come on over to the shape builder tool, and I'm going to go ahead and start bringing together what I want to keep, and then I'm going to get rid of what I don't want to keep. So I'm just going around. Let me kind of zoom in here. I'm going around and securing the shape of the basketball itself. So I want all of these to connect together. Look how easy and cool that is. You guys, before this tool, I don't know. There were ways to do it with the Pathfinder, but this is pretty cool. Okay, so I think I've got all my basketball secured here. So we're all good. We're going to back out a little bit. And then I'm going to hit my Option or Alt key, and I'm going to get rid of all of these other elements that I don't want. And that's it. Look. Now I have a logo mark for whatever. Definitely not that exciting of a logo mark, but like I said, it would take a really long time. So I don't want it to take very much longer. We've gone over a lot of different things. Okay, so I'm going to just change the color of that because I have all these wonderful colors to use, so why not? So let's just make it like an orange color, and there we go. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is some of the effects and how that can change the shapes that you're working with. So let's go ahead and I'm going to choose a sphere, and I'm just going to put a sphere here, and let's look at some of the things that we can do. So if we go to Effect, the 2 effect panels that I use the most are Warp and Distort and Transform. That's just because of the type of work I like to do, but there are a lot of them here. And there are Photoshop effects in here as well that you can use. So under Distort and Transform, we have Pucker and Bloat, which is pretty powerful. I guess the things that come to mind first for Pucker and Bloat, although there's many different things you can do, is a sparkle and a flower, right? So if we pucker the sphere, we can make a sparkle. Now imagine on more complex shapes how powerful this can be. And then if we bloat it, we can make a flower. So let's go ahead and bloat it and make a flower. So you can see that the original path is right there. This is just the effect being applied to it. It's not really this shape yet unless we expand it. So it's kind of a bit of a visual, it's like an illusion kind of right now. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And let's say I like the shape where it's at. I'm going to go ahead and expand it. So I'm going to go to Object, and this time we're going to expand the appearance. So expand and expand appearance pretty much do the same exact thing. Okay, so I expanded the appearance, and you see that the path is now following this like so. And that's pretty cool. So now we've got this flower shape, but I want to double this and then rotate it a little to make, like, let's say a flower. So what I can do is you can actually copy and paste into place. So there's the duplication tool that I've been using a lot, but you can also Command C or copy, and then you can actually paste in place, which is Shift Command V, and I use this all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. And now you can see in our layers panel, there's 2 of these floral shapes. So if I take this one and I just hold my Shift key down, it's going to give me the option to do a 45-degree perfect rotate. And now I've got this wonderful floral shape. I'm going to go ahead and select both of these. I'm going to use my Pathfinder tool and just unite them, and now I have a full flower shape. And then if I come over to my ellipse tool again, I hover until it tells me I'm at the center, which is a little hard to see because my cursor is so big right now. I'm going to go ahead and hold down the Shift and Command. No, Shift and Alt or Option, sorry. And then I'm going to make this yellow. Okay. And there's a flower. And then I can group this together, right? Shrink it down, and then I can duplicate this as much as I want. And then if I use my direct selection tool, I can come in here and choose different colors. Whoops. Certainly, there are not really blue flowers, but that's okay. We're in imagination land, and flowers can be whatever colors we want them to be. All right, so that is pucker and bloat. Let's just look at 2 others really quick. So go ahead and make a couple more ellipses or ovals or whatever you want to do. The other distort tool that I find incredibly helpful is the, let's see, there's roughen and zigzag that I really like. So let's do roughen first. So roughen by default will be on corner, and smooth is really where the magic is at in this, and then not having it so rough. So if you ever need something that's like a little more organic looking or have a little bit of shape to it, you don't want it to be perfect geometry, this is a great way to kind of make that happen. So again, that's under distort and transform and then roughen. So if we zoom in on this, you can see that it just gave the line a nice wobble here, and we can make it a real shape by expanding the appearance. And then the other one I really like to use a lot is under distort and transform is zigzag. And this makes really nice little waves, and they're always even. So again, it's on corner by default. If we go ahead and hit smooth, maybe take down the drama a little bit. In terms of the size, it'll give you a nice wavy line. Okay, so there's those distortion tools can be really powerful. And then we'll go ahead and expand this to make it a real shape. All right, so I'm going to go over how to export this as a PDF. today, and then we'll continue to look at other ways to export out of Illustrator, like with transparency and more complicated stuff. But we're just keeping it easy peasy right now. So we're going to first go ahead and save your project wherever you're at. You don't want to lose your work that you've done. And then we're going to go to export as, hold on, no. We want to go to save as, sorry about that, you guys. There's a couple of different ways to do it, and so I just said the wrong one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this on my computer. So remember, this is under Save As, and we're going to not choose Adobe Illustrator, but we're going to choose Adobe PDF, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this to my desktop. Go ahead and save PDF. You can leave all those at default. So now what you have, I'm going to go ahead and minimize that, is you have your Shapes AI project file. That's where you're working. But then you've exported a PDF, and this is something you could send to somebody and say, hey, here's a PDF of what I've done. You know, what do you think? Because you don't want to be sending clients or team members necessarily an Illustrator file if they're not a graphics artist and they're not working in visual design at all, right? So you would send this, but this is just an export of like where you're at. And then if you need to make changes, then you open your Illustrator file back up, right? And you continue to work in that, and then you can export another PDF and send that out. So that's the reason that you would want to send out PDFs. So what I'm going to have you do for this particular assignment is I want you to upload the AI file, and I want you to upload the PDF to Canvas, okay, for submission. So go ahead and load both of those up, and that is going to wrap this tutorial. So anyways, I hope you feel like you've got some basic foundations in how to start using shapes to build the visual content that you need to create for whatever you're working on. Okay, bye all.